morning, sixth graders. It's actually afternoon. I'm running a little bit late today. Thank you for your patience. I'm just going to jump in and start reading. The sun was sinking behind the mountains by the time we found the water park. Judging from the sign, it once had been called Waterland, but now some of the letters were smashed out, so what it read was, Wat Rad. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, huge dry water slides and tubes and pipes curled everywhere, leading to empty pools. Old tickets and advertisements fluttered around on the asphalt. With night coming on, the place looked really sad and pretty creepy. If Aries brings his girlfriend here for a date, I said, staring up at the barbed wire, I'd hate to see what she looks like. Percy, Annabeth warned, be more respectful. Why? I thought you hated Aries. He's still a god, and his girlfriend is very temperamental. You don't want to insult her looks, Grover added. Why? Who is she? Agneta? No, Aphrodite, Grover said a little dreamily. Goddess of love. I thought she was married to somebody, I said. Well, Hephaestus or something. What's your point? He asked. Oh. I suddenly felt the need to change the subject. So, how are we going to get in? Maya! Grover's shoes sprouted wings. He flew over the fence, did an unintended somersault in midair, and then stumbled onto a landing on the opposite side. He dusted off his jeans as if he'd planned the whole thing. You guys coming? Annabeth and I had to climb the old-fashioned way, holding down the barbed wire for one another as we crawled over the top. The shadows grew long as we walked through the park, checking out all the attractions. There was the Ankle Biter Island, Head Over Wedgie, and Dude, Where's My Swimsuit? No monsters were coming to get us, though. Nothing made even the slightest noise. We found a little souvenir shop that had been left open. Merchandise still lined the shelves. Snow globes, pencils, postcards, and racks of clothes, Annabeth said. Fresh clothes. Yeah, but you can't just watch me. She snatched an entire row of stuff off the racks, and she disappeared into the changing room. A few minutes later, she came out in Waterland flower print shorts, a big red Waterland t-shirt, and a commemorative Waterland surf shoes. A Waterland backpack was slung over her shoulder, obviously stuffed with more goodies. What the heck? Grover shrugged. And soon, all three of us were decked out like little walking advertisements for the defunct theme park. We continued searching for the Tunnel of Love. I got the feeling that the whole park was holding its breath. So, Aries and Aphrodite, I said, keeping my mind off the growing dark. They have a thing going? I'm not loving this thing. That's just really old gossip, Percy, Annabeth told me. 3,000-year-old gossip. What about Aphrodite's husband, though? Well, you know, Hephaestus, the blacksmith. He was crippled when he was a baby, thrown off Mount Olympus by Zeus. So he isn't exactly handsome. Clever with his hands and all, but Aphrodite isn't into brains and talent, you know? She likes bikers. Whatever. Hephaestus knows? Oh, sure he knows, Annabeth said. He caught them together once. I mean, literally caught them in a golden net and invited all the gods to come and laugh at them. Hephaestus is always trying to embarrass them. That's why they meet in out-of-the-way places like... She stopped and looked straight ahead. Like that. In front of us was an empty pool that would have been awesome for skateboarding. It was at least 50 yards across, and it was shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, a dozen bronze statues of Cupid stood guard with wings spread and bows ready to fire. On the opposite side of us, a tunnel opened up, probably where the water once flowed into a pool that was full. The sign above it read, Thrill Ride of Love. This is not your parents' tunnel of love. Grover crept toward the edge. Guys, look! Marooned at the bottom of the pool was a pink and white two-seater boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted all over it. In the left seat, glinting in the fading light, was Ares' shield, a polished circle of bronze. This was way too easy, I said. So we're just going to walk down there and take it? Annabeth ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter carved here, she said. E-T-A. I wonder... Grover, I said, do you smell any monsters? Nothing. Nothing like the ark that you didn't even smell Agneta or anything? Or is it really nothing? Grover looked hurt. I told you that was underground. All right, I'm sorry. I took a deep breath. I'm going down there. I'll go with you. Grover didn't sound very enthusiastic, but I got the feeling he was trying to make up for what had happened in St. Louis. No, I told him. I want you to stay up here with the flying shoes. You're the Red Baron, the flying ace, remember? I'll be counting on you for backup in case something goes wrong. Grover puffed up his chest a little. Sure, but what could go wrong? I don't know, just a feeling. Annabeth, you come with me. Are you kidding? She looked at me as if I had just dropped off of the moon. Her cheeks were bright red. What's the problem now? I demanded. Me? Go with you? To the thrill ride of love? How embarrassing is that? What if someone saw me? Who's gonna see you? But my face was burning now too. Leave it to a girl to make everything complicated. Fine, I told her. I'll do it myself. But when I started down the side of the pool, she followed me, muttering about how boys always mess things up. We reached the boat. The shield was propped on one seat, and next to it was a lady's silk scarf. I tried to imagine Ares and Aphrodite here, a couple of gods mating in a junked-out amusement park ride. Why? Then I noticed something that I hadn't seen from the top. Mirrors all the way around the rim of the pool, facing the spot. We could see ourselves no matter which direction we looked. That must be it. While Ares and Aphrodite were smooching with each other, they could look at their favorite people, themselves. I picked up the scarf, and it shimmered pink, and the perfume was indescribable. Rose or mountain laurel. Something really good. I smiled, a little dreamy, and I was about to rub the scarf against my cheek when Annabeth ripped it out of my hand and stuffed it in her pocket. Oh, no, you don't. You stay away from that love magic. What? Just get the shield, seaweed brain, and let's get out of here. The moment I touched the shield, I knew we were in big trouble. My hand broke through something that had been connecting it to the dashboard. A cobweb, I thought, but then I looked, and a strand of it on my palm, and I saw that it was some sort of a metal filament, so fine that it was almost invisible. It was a tripwire. Wait, Annabeth said. Too late. There's another Greek letter on the side of the boat, another ETA. This is a trap. Noise erupted all around us, and millions of gears grinded as if the whole pool were turning into one giant machine. Grover yelled, "Guys!" Up on the rim, the Cupid statues were drawing their bows and firing into position. Before I could even suggest taking cover, they all shot. But not at us. They fired at each other. Across the rim of the pool, silky cables trailed from the arrows, arcing over the pool and anchoring where they landed to form a huge golden asterisk. Then, smaller metallic threads started weaving together magically between the main strands, making a huge net. We have to get out of here, I said. Duh, Annabeth screamed. I grabbed the shield and we ran, but going up the slope of the pool was not as easy as going down. Come on, Grover yelled. He was trying to hold open a section of the net for us, but wherever he touched it, the golden thread started to wrap around his hands. The Cupid's heads popped open, and out came video cameras. Spotlights rose up all around the pool, blinding us with their illumination, and a loudspeaker voice boomed, "Live to Olympus in 1 minute, 59 seconds, 58. Hephaestus, Annabeth screamed. I'm so stupid. ETA is H. He made this trap to catch his wife with Ares. Now we're going to be broadcast live to Olympus and look like absolute fools. We almost made it to the rim when the row of mirrors opened like hatches and thousands of tiny metallic things poured out. Annabeth screamed. It was an army of wind-up, creepy crawlies, bronze gear bodies, spindly little legs, little pincer mouths, all scuttling towards us in a wave of cackling, whirring metal. Spiders, she said. Spah! I've never seen her like this before. She fell backward in terror, and she almost got overwhelmed by the spider robots before I was able to pull her up and drag her back toward the boat. The things were coming out from all over the rim now, millions of them, flooding toward the center of the pool, completely surrounding us. I told myself they probably weren't going to be programmed to kill, just corral us and bite us and make us look real stupid. Then again, this was a trap meant for the gods, and we weren't gods. Annabeth and I climbed into the boat. I started kicking away the spiders as they swarmed about. I yelled at Annabeth to help me, but she was just too paralyzed to do much more than scream. 30, 29, called the loudspeaker. The spiders started spitting out strands of metal thread, trying to tie us down. The strands were easy enough to break at first, but there were just so many of them, and the spiders just kept on coming. I kicked away one from Annabeth's leg, and its pincers took a chunk out of my new surf shoe. Grover hovered above the pool with his flying sneakers, trying to pull the net loose, but it just wouldn't budge. Think, I told myself. Think. The tunnel of love entrance was under the net. We could use it as an exit, except that it was probably blocked by a million spider robots. 15, 14, the loudspeaker called. Water, water, I thought. Where does the ride's water come from? And then I saw them. Huge water pipes behind the mirrors, where the spiders had come from. And up above the net, next to one of the cupids, a glass-windowed booth that must have been the controller station. Grover, I yelled, get into that booth. Find the on switch. But do it. It was a crazy hope, but it was our only chance. The spiders were all over the prow of the boat now. Annabeth was screaming her head off. I had to get us out of here. Grover was in the controller's booth now, slamming away at the buttons. 5, 4. Grover looked up at me hopelessly, raising his hands. He was letting me know that he had pushed every button, but still nothing was happening. I closed my eyes and I thought about waves, rushing water, the Mississippi River. I felt a familiar tug in my belly. I tried to imagine that I was dragging the ocean all the way to Denver. 2, 1, 0. And then boom. Water exploded out of the pipes. It roared into the pool, sweeping away all of the spiders. I pulled Annabeth into the seat next to me, and I fastened her seatbelt just as the tidal wave slammed into our boat, up and over the top, whisking the spiders away and dousing us completely. But it did not capsize us. The boat turned, lifted in the flood, spun around in circles on a whirlpool. The water was full of short-circuiting spiders, some of them smashing against the pool's concrete wall with such force that they burst open. Spotlights glared down at us. The Cupid cams were rolling, live to Olympus. But I could only concentrate on controlling the boat. I willed it to ride the current, to keep it away from the wall. Maybe it was my imagination, but the boat seemed to respond. At least, it didn't break into a million pieces. We spun around one last time, the water level now almost high enough to shred us against the metal net. Then the boat's nose turned toward the tunnel, and we rocketed into the darkness. Annabeth and I held on tight, both of us screaming our heads off as the boat shot curls and hugged corners and took 45-degree plunges past pictures of Romeo and Juliet and a bunch of other Valentine's Day stuff. Then we were out of the tunnel, the night air whistling through our hair as the boat barreled straight toward the exit. If the ride had been in working order, we would have sailed off a ramp between the Golden Gates of Love and splashed down safely into the exit pool. But there was a little bit of a problem. The Gates of Love were chained. 2 boats that had been washed out of the tunnel before us were now piled against the barricade. One of them submerged, the other cracked in half. Fasten your seatbelt, I yelled to Annabeth. Are you crazy? Unless you want to get smashed to death. I strapped Ares' shield to my arm. We're going to have to jump for it. My idea was simple and insane. As the boat struck, we would use its force like a springboard to jump the gate. I'd heard of people surviving car crashes that way, getting thrown 30 or 40 feet away from an accident. With any luck, we'd land in the pool. Annabeth seemed to understand this. She gripped my hand as the gates got closer. On my mark, I said. No, on my mark. What? Simple physics, she yelled. Force times the trajectory angle. Fine, I yelled. On your mark. She hesitated, then yelled, now! Crack! Annabeth was right. If we'd jumped when I thought we should have, we would have crashed into the gates. She got us to maximum lift. Unfortunately, that was a little more than we needed. Our boat smashed into the pileup, and we were thrown into the air, straight up and over the gates, over the pool, and down toward the solid asphalt. Something grabbed me from behind, and Annabeth screamed, ouch! Grover. In midair, he had grabbed me by the shirt and Annabeth by the arm and was trying to pull us out of a crash landing, but Annabeth and I had all the momentum. You're too heavy, he yelled. We're going down! We spiraled and spiraled toward the ground, Grover doing his best to slow our fall. Then we smashed into a photo board, Grover's head going straight into the hole where tourists would usually put their faces, pretending to be No, the friendly whale. Annabeth and I tumbled to the ground, banged up, but alive. Ares' shield still on my arm. Once we caught our breath, Annabeth and I got Grover out of the photo board, and we thanked him for saving our lives. I looked back at the thrill ride of love. The water was subsiding now, and our boat had been smashed to pieces against the gates. 100 yards away at the entrance pool, the Cupids were still filming. The statues had swiveled so that their cameras were trained straight on us, and the spotlights were right in our faces. "Show's over!" I yelled. "Thank you! Good night!" The Cupids turned back to their original positions, and the lights shut off. The park went quiet and dark again, except for the gentle trickle of water into the Thrill Ride of Love's exit pool. I wondered if Olympus had gone to a commercial break, or if our ratings had been any good. I hated being teased. I hated being tricked, and I had plenty of experience handling bullies who liked to do that kind of stuff to me. I hefted the shield on my arm, and I turned to my friends. We're going to have a little talk with Aries. All right, that was chapter 15. I hope you liked it. See you later.